Judge Jeanine Pirro, host of Justice with Judge Jeanine and author of the new book, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, The Case Against the Anti-Trump Conspiracy, is with me here tonight at the story. Thank you very much, Jeanine. Good to have you here tonight. I just want to put up some of the comments. Catherine had the comments of the prosecutor. This is what Kevin Downing, who is representing Paul Manafort, had to say. He said the government was so desperate to convict Mr. Manafort, they made a deal with Rick Gates. Gates showed himself to be the liar here, the liar he is. He couldn't even get his story straight. He gets to walk out of here on probation because they were so desperate. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that's a smart move. Understand, this guy, Kevin Downing, is very smart. And he's not putting Paul Manafort on the stand for a reason. I suspect it's so complicated that Manafort is probably going to sound like an idiot that he didn't run most of the stuff himself. And they'll just be able to cross-examine him to the point where it looks like he's lying, but he doesn't even know the vast amount of operations that were going on. Gates embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars to support a second lifestyle with, the mistresses in his life. And so Kevin Downing had to do everything that he could to make sure that he took away the credibility. That's why the prosecution came in and said, guys, it's about the documents. It's not about anything else. So in the end, I think this whole case is about not so much, did he or didn't he do it, Manafort, because I suspect that there are mistakes. You can look at anybody's tax returns over the last 20 years. You're going to find some mistakes. But I think that what Kevin Downing is trying to do is kind of buttress what the T.S. Elliott, right?
Ellis.
The judge. Ellis. I'm thinking Elliott.
I
knew that was wrong. I knew that was wrong. When he said, look, you're not going to leverage this kind of case in my courtroom. So I think in the end, I think there may be a conviction, but I also think the defense has done the best job they could.
Yeah. Let's put up the picture of Paul Manafort's jackets, because at one time, Judge T.S. Ellis basically reprimanded the prosecution here and said, look, you can't, this isn't about whether or not someone is wealthy, because they put all these pictures of expensive jackets up saying, look at all the stuff that he bought with the money. And, the judge was making the point that it's really about whether someone broke the law. End of story.
Do you know what that is, Martha? That's called class warfare. People who are sitting on that jury are looking at some of these ostrich jackets for $15,000 and saying, I don't have that. This guy must have been stealing something. It's not what he bought with the money. It's did he cheat the government? You can do this with numbers. You don't have to do it. But this is what the feds do. Right. They're very good. They squeeze people. And all this guy Mueller needs is one conviction.
Yeah. All right, moving on, I want to get your thoughts on John Brennan, who is lashing out at the president today after the White House made the announcement that they were going to remove his security clearance. They're also reviewing the clearance of several others. Let's put them up on the screen, including James Clapper, Michael Hayden, Sally Yates, who's becoming an interesting person to keep an eye on in all of this, given all of the Bruce Orr texting, because he worked directly for Sally Yates, so I think we're going to hear more about that. Susan Rice, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and the aforementioned Bruce Orr.
Well, I think the first thing you have to understand is that you do not have a right to a security clearance once you leave government. You are not entitled to it. That's number one. The president has the authority and, in fact, the obligation to protect classified secrets and information. Now, access should be granted for two reasons. Institutional knowledge, so your successor can call you and say, what did you do in this situation? And as a professional courtesy. This guy, Brennan, does not deserve any professional courtesies. He lied to Senate Intel when he said that the CIA was not accessing Senate staffers when they were investigating. The Senate Intel was investigating what the CIA program was. He lied when he said the dossier, Steele dossier, wasn't a part of the 2016 election investigation when he was the one who was peddling it. And, the guy has, he's lied to Congress repeatedly. So you can say that maybe the president shouldn't have done it, that it was petty, but he's monetizing and he's politicizing. And when you have that kind of access, you convince the public that, hey, I've got this access. And
I love this idea that, John Brennan said, oh, he's just doing it to shut me up. I don't think anything's going to shut up John Brennan. I mean, and this whole idea that you're sort of Nixonian, as one of the critics of this said today. I mean, there is no muzzle on anybody on either side in any of this. So I think that we can put that concern to bet.
But you know why it hurts? It's not he's worried about his First Amendment free speech. He's worried that, look, as consulting and lobbying and television, I kind of lose that step up of credibility because I don't have access to this.
Good point. Here's what Rudy Giuliani, one of the president's lawyers, tweeted about the larger investigation this morning and why he thinks it should wrap up, which we know he wants to happen. CNN polls 66% say Mueller should complete the investigation before the upcoming elections. DOJ has a policy to refrain from investigatory activity in 60-day period before the election, so that brings us to essentially September 7th. He writes, is there any chance that happens in your mind?
No. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Mueller is on a tear. There's nothing that's going to stop him. But as we watch the numbers go up, both Democrats and Republicans who are starting to be disgusted with it, it's coming up any time, any minute we're going to have evidence of collusion. The more we hear about people in the FBI and the DOJ and what they're doing, and you're so smart about Sally Yates and Bruce Orr, there's going to be a huge opening on that one. I think Americans are not stupid. I think they instinctively elected this outsider president because they knew things were not right in Washington.
Judge Jeanine, always good to see you. Thank you very much. Good to be here tonight.